everyone, and welcome to our one-shot number 37 here on the monthly Dive Into the Longbox. Jocelyn joined with Gabe, who is me. I was like, let me change the names up.
I like how you had to specify that.
You know, what if it's a first-time listener? Who knows? This month on the One Shot, we're going to be reviewing Fighting American Rules of the Game number 1 through 3, all in this one episode here. If you have not listened to our issues 1 and 2 of Fighting American that we reviewed previously, this is actually a continuation of that. Go listen to our One Shot number 16 from June of 2024. That's how long we've been doing this. We're on One Shot 37 now. We're finally following up on what we talked about on One Shot number 16 almost 2 years ago. Wild. So we start off here. We open up Fighting American Rules of the Game, following what happened last time. So Fighting American.
I don't know about you, Gabe, but as I was reading this, I was I was thinking in my head, like I had like a little song playing in my head. Do you remember that song Disturbed made called "The Game"?
Yeah.
I was thinking of that song like while I was reading this.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the song from that bad wrestling game, America.
No. Oh, from what was it? Five Star Wrestling?
5-Star Wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not that, but fuck, that'd have been so much funnier.
So, following what happened last time, Fighting American has retired. All right, he is secluded away on this farm that he's living on in Wichita, Kansas, and he's looking to hang up his mask and shield, my friend. All right. So when he's talking, he's like, "Listen, it's not over till I say it's over. And guess what? It's over. I'm retired." And we see Spice is there, the little android robot lady who they always introduce the same way as like this dangerous mass destruction who looks like a 16-year-old. Like every issue introduces her like that.
I was going to say, they always have to point out that she looks like a 16-year-old. It's like, okay.
I do touch on that a little later on.
Like, why do you guys have to always point that out?
It's a little weird thing to point out every time.
Kind of.
We get it, guys. We get it. So Spice does everything she can to try and convince Fighting American to come back and fight all these damn communists. And he's like, communism's dead, Spice. None of this matters anymore. I'm a happy man on this farm. And if you want some help, maybe go call Supreme or Glory or Youngblood because they'll love whatever it is that you are. I was like, whoa. And then I forgot Awesome Comics was like a shared universe for a second. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? He just name dropped Youngblood in Supreme.
Which, by the way, bring it back, Rob.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Absolutely. Bring back Supreme, baby. So at that point, she launches her retractable hand towards him, and he blocks it with the lid of a trash can, almost like a shield, with ease. And he tells her to go talk to General Cole, and he'll give her a job that doesn't involve him.
Which, by the way, at first, when I first read that, I was like, who's General Cole? Is he talking about Grifter? Cole Cash?
That would have been cool.
That's what I equated it to at first, but I was like, no, Wildstorm had already been sold to DC by this point.
Unfortunately.
So I was like, fuck, well, there goes that super cool crossover I was imagining.
That would have been so fucking sick.
It would have been so much fun.
So that's when Spice gets a little spicy here, and she asks Fighting American if his former ward Speed Boy was asking him, would he be questioning him the same way that he's questioning her? And he takes offense to that, and he throws some fucking slop in her face. And I'm not just calling it slop, he literally calls it pig slop. So he throws slop in her face, and he vanishes into the darkness of his farm.
He does the old the Godwin's trick on Sonny. I'm just gonna dub pig
He looks
slop
like a
on
Godwin
you.
with the fucking overalls. He just needs the baseball hat and like in the short sleeve shirt under.
Fighting American would have been the third Godwin.
So this is when she uses her opportunity to like pretend to be sad and leave, and it's cool because you see him hanging upside down from the rafters like Sting. And then
yeah, you're right.
She like pretends to cry. She's like sniff, and she's like crying while leaving. And then she's like, "Gotcha, bitch." So she launches like these shots from her fingers at him as he hangs from the rafters. He does like this acrobatic thing with his legs are flaring out. So he returns the favor to her and just fucking kicks her a mile through his farm doors to the outside. Just kicks her right in the gut. And as she just isn't listening to anything he says, even though she's fluent in every language he says in the world, he says he'll tell her this in a language that she can understand very easily. He looks at her and he says, "Get a life, Spice." And she's like, "But we gotta fight these bad guys." And he just goes, "Get a life." So he's like, "Listen, there's nothing you can do that will make me put this suit back on." And boom! A goddamn explosion occurs, and a huge fucking projectile strikes them at the farm. I was like, holy shit. So General Cole watches on back over in Washington, D.C., and he's asking the head of the AI team. They haven't said his name yet. Oh, sorry, it is Nelson. He asked Nelson, who's the head of the AI team, what the fuck is going on? And AI, for people that don't know, that's artificial intelligence. This book was ahead of its time. So he tells him that projectile that just struck John Flagg's farm just took out everything within a square mile radius.
It blew up his fucking farm, man.
But they asked him, they're like, "What do you want to do?" And he's like, "You know what?" He asked Cole, and General Cole's like, "We're going to wait and see what happens. We're not going to intrude just yet." And then we get the B plot here, the side story, which I actually really do like, and it ties up really well in issue 3. We're in Savannah, Georgia.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because the B plot to me made no sense
at first.
Up until like at first, up until we wrapped it up, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it sets it up. Sets it. I like that they did that, because it's not just like when we get to issue 3 when something is revealed, it's not just out of nowhere. So I like that they built it up. Very slowly. I like that. Yeah, they had 3 issues to do it, and I think they did it well. So we're introduced to good old Kelly Grant here in Savannah, Georgia. This is a young, beautiful woman who's staying with her cancer-ridden mother.
By the way, I really like that exterior shot of the house.
Dude, same. And I love the shot of her on the stoop with like her dress flowing. That looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
It looks phenomenal.
That's great stuff on McGuinness. I love that exterior shot.
I'm a big fan of her hair in this for a weird reason. Yeah. I feel like comic book hair is always drawn the same, especially in this time frame for women. This is drawn so differently. It's like curly hair, which I like. I think I just like curly hair in general, like on women. Yeah.
Like in comic books, like it just looks so dynamic.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think this looks great. So we meet her. Her mother has cancer, so she's living with her, and she goes outside and she brings in the paper. And this is when she shows her. She's like, "Mama, did you see this?" And then it's a picture of Fighting American, who's fighting again, looking as young as he did, possibly when this person might have known him. But she goes, "Oh my God." And she drops her iced tea that she was making on the ground. Now back to the main story. And this is where we see Poison Ivan, the big dude, and Hot Sky Trotsky, the small dude.
It always throws me off that they named him Poison Ivan.
Yeah.
Because my brain just wants to read it as Poison Ivy.
And it doesn't help that Ivan's in green also.
Yeah, like...
But I'm a sucker for a bad guy duo of a big dude and a small dude. Always works for me.
Yeah, it's always funny.
And these boys are proud of the smoldering ash that is surrounding them at John's farm right now, man. They are claiming that this was the easiest $10 million that they have ever made. But wait, there's more.
Or so they thought.
Because Fighting American isn't dead yet, baby. He comes out from an underground bunker and takes both these motherfuckers out. And he's pissed. He's pissed.
I just love the fact that he has a bunker on his farm.
I like that even though he's retired, he's still prepared just in case. You gotta respect it.
Never know. They never know. They might need me.
And he tells him, he's like, he wanted to stay away from this life. He wanted to live just a normal life on his farm, and they're kind of forcing his hand right now and making him do this, and now he wants answers. So while he's questioning Trotsky about this, Ivan's the big guy. Oh, no, Ivan's the small one. Wait, no, Ivan's the big one. No. Yeah, Ivan's the big one. Trotsky's the small one. So Ivan tries to shoot him while he's kicking Trotsky in the mouth. And Ivan has this giant fucking gun. and he pointed at Fighting American, who does the most badass thing ever. His shield has these 2 metal spikes just appear out of nowhere. And not only are they spikes, but they are spike projectiles, and they shoot into the damn kneecaps of Ivan. I'm like, yo, what? And he's a big dude, and if you look at the size of the spikes in his knees, they're bigger than his knees. That guy, he is paralyzed. He can't walk from the knees down. He's done.
Oh, yeah, easily.
So, that was wild. So that drops him real quick. So he gets back to Trotsky, and he's asking him who knew about his secret location. Like, who sent them? Surprise, surprise. He gets knocked out from the side. Who is it? It's motherfucking Spice. She lays a heavy punch on him, laying him out on the ground, and he doesn't know what to do. But before we end this issue, we're over in Bel Air, California. In West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Born and raised. I don't think I spend most of my days sucking the fuck out of Chris Rock.
That was the only thing I heard when I read Bel Air, California. So we see this mansion with half naked, and if you look closely, 2 of these women are straight up naked at this pool. I think the only reason why that chick has a bathing suit is because they couldn't draw nipples. I think that's the only reason why she has a bathing suit on. Because if you look at the chick laying on getting a tan, butt-ass naked. The one sitting at the pool, like, at the forefront, butt-ass naked.
And, by the way, like, at the intro, like, where they're introducing, like, the characters, like, inside the mansion and all that.
Yes.
They specifically mention, and they mentioned this, like, more than once, and it just kind of really annoys me because they're really, like, on the nose with it. They're like, Bel Air, full of old money.
Yeah, exactly. They said that every issue.
They use the phrase old money at, like, once or twice, like, per issue, and I'm like, okay, I mean...
Well, I noticed this book does the same trope that Danger Girl did, where it would open up the book or throughout the book would say quotes that are the same in each issue. Like how Danger Girl would start off with, like, the recap and then end with, like, will they live? And it ended like that every single time, every issue. They kind of did the same. So... I don't know if they're trying to capture, like, that like, vibe, that spy show vibe. I don't know.
I was going to say, so that's exactly where Danger Girl got it from. Kind of like from that Charlie's Angels vibe of it.
So we're at this mansion here, and we see this person. His name is Round Robin. And he is being fed some grapes from another naked woman with very wet hair. And she's like, do you want any more grapes? And he's like, I don't need that. I have everything in the world. So he has money, he has food, women, everything a man could want. But at the end of the day, he only wants one thing. He wants the death of Fighting American. And that was the end of issue 1 of Fighting American. Shall we jump into issue 2?
Of course.
Well, issue 2 picks up right where we left off in issue 1. And on the ground is Fighting American, and Spice is holding him at her whim. And she asks him, she goes, what are you gonna... So, what you gotta be asking, punk, is do you feel lucky? I like the reference. That was great. And, of course, he's like, Spice, what the fuck? Put the gun down. Jesus Christ. You're only a 16-year-old girl. Which they do mention here again.
Gotta really drive home that point.
You gotta drive it home. So he does some cool superhero stuff. He flips away. As he does, she starts blasting away at him. And honestly, throughout this early part of the fight here, he's a little reluctant to, like, fight back, even though he knows he has to. So he'll lunge at her, and he slices off her fucking retractable arm. Just cuts it off clean. And then fucking cleans her clock with a punch. That's a huge left hook to the face. Because he knows that at the end of the day, she's still just a robot. And she's still alive, but she's knocked out. And he says that this is why he told General Cole that he works alone. So while he has her grounded, his shield is at her neck. She does like a Cyclops optic blast with her cool sunglasses. And she tells him that everything that he just did was actually read by her programming, like fucking Taskmaster. And she's able to take that and then feed it back to him with like some own hits of her own. Which I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. That's a cool adaptive AI. You like to see it. So just like how he had her, I just punched the shit out of my mic. Just like how he had her pinned, she returns the favor. She points the gun at his forehead, and she asks him, "You got any last words?" And then right when he's about to answer, we cut over to Washington, D.C. And this is where we see that General Cole's actually watching through the eyes of Spice with Nelson from the AI department. And he's pissed. So he starts yelling at Nelson, this fucking AI nerd who's in charge of this program, and he's asking, he's like, what are we watching? Why is your AI doing this? So Nelson tells him basically, like, I think she's been hacked because she's not acting like herself. So, of course, Cole is like, well, turn it off. And he's like, well, I can't. Because if I do, she has a gun pointed at his head. If I do, it risks killing him, which we don't want to happen. Duh.
Pretty fair.
Pretty fair. Logical. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So now we go back over to the B plot here, over in Georgia again. And we actually see that Kelly's mother has passed away now. She's died from the cancer. It took her away. And now she's starting to go through her belongings. And she says it was common knowledge at the time that her mom was sort of a normal person with a boring life. And as she starts going through her envelopes, there's a note you can see part of that is from John Flagg, which is interesting. So as she goes to open up the letter, there's a picture that falls out. And it's a picture of her mom and Fighting American. Back to the fight now. The first panel is Spice being blown to fucking smithereens. We're back in the action now. It just says boom and she's going flying away. It's actually a very funny panel to come back to. So she's getting blown away, but it's not because of Fighting American. Actually, she gets blown away, and he's basically like, Jesus Christ, now what? What's fucking going on now? And you see, it's our boy. It's Hot Sky Trotsky. Hot Sky Trotsky's here, the little guy. So he has the big gun that Ivan had, and he shoots Spice off. I almost keep calling her Ice Spice. He shoots Spice off of Fighting American. But he doesn't do it necessarily to, like, save him. He does it because of the $10 million bounty that's on his head. He doesn't want anybody taking this bounty from him. Especially not some AI who looks like a 16-year-old girl. So in like a millisecond, Fighting American basically jumps behind Trotsky and grabs one of the blades from his fucking shield, and he just stabs him through the gut and impales him, killing him. I was like, holy shit, bro. That's brutal.
This ain't your daddy's Fighting American.
Right, bro. This is like, what if Captain America was brutal? This is like absolute Captain America. So he kills him, and Fighting American walks to the laid out body of Spice after, asking why she's doing this. And she starts gurgling, and she can't really talk. She has a hole blown through her body. Her little mechanical guts are hanging out from the shot, and she starts trying to talk. And as she does, the voice says, "Because, comrade, somebody wants you." And all that motherfucker had to hear was, "Comrade," and he was like, "Oh, fuck!"
Flip the switch. He's like, "What the fuck did you say?"
Dude, he found out that somebody wants you dead, and he's like, "Oh, shit, this sets the motherfucker off, dude." She chokes him out, doesn't stop him. He hears "comrade," he starts ripping her metal guts out and her wiring, like, just going insano mode on her. So he fucking just pulls her apart, and coming out of her is this like spirit called Invisible Irving, who was a Russian KGB guinea pig that was like tested on. And because of all the tests, it caused him to turn into this uncontrollable monster that even they couldn't contain, who actually has a cool power where he can jump into the body of either a person or a thing and control it. Which I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Until you find out he's very easy to kill. So with a little help from Spice, she calls out for Fighting American, shoots a blast out from her hand. He bounces it off of his shield and roasts Irving like a fucking Thanksgiving turkey. He's dead. He's not so invisible. We've learned. He has a cool look though. The long hair, the red. He looks like a blood elf from World of Warcraft. He looks very cool.
The funny American said, "Hey, look, we roasted the ops meat right off the bone."
I just love how bodies are dropping in this fucking story, bro. Like people are just dying. It's crazy. So Spice begins rebuilding her body again, and she apologizes to Fighting American about what just happened. And he's obviously not listening because he is just too preoccupied about who is behind all of this. Luckily, because Irving entered her body, no, hold on. Because Irving took over her body, I was like, let me reword that as that was coming out of my mouth. As Irving took over her body, she actually got a glimpse of who the mastermind was behind this whole thing. And they're going to get to the bottom of this. And who was the mastermind? Well, it's the man we met last issue in Bel Air, California, where there's old money.
God damn it.
This is where we see Round Robin now having a very hot woman walk on his back. And he still does not look pleased because Fighting American, in fact, is still alive. And like he said, he will not be happy until Fighting American's dead. I will say it is cool in this issue, though. I don't know if you noticed. After this, there was actually an in memoriam page for Jack Kirby, which I think is very cool.
There was an in memoriam page for Jack Kirby,
by
yes.
Joe Simon and Liefeld. Pretty cool. I like that.
There's actually quite a bit of letters in the issues I've noticed.
Yeah.
I didn't read them all, of course, but I mean, I've read some of them.
Fun fact, this actually has like a backup story called SWAT. I didn't read it. By Dan Fraga.
I didn't. Okay, I didn't realize. I thought it was like a preview.
I thought it was a preview too
story.
when I was looking at this.
That's
digitally.
why I just skipped it.
Yeah, so when I was looking at it digitally, I thought it was a preview, and then I had the physical book, and it's just like a mini 3-page story, and I was like, oh, it's an actual thing.
That's cool. I'll have to go back and read it then.
Yeah, so that's on the back of that for people that want to read it. But now we go to the final issue, the crescendo of Fighting American rules of the game. And you may think that we're speeding through this, but these books just have a lot of action, which I like. I like that there are a lot of action. You can breeze through this 3-issue series very easily in one sitting.
This reads very much like like an action movie of the time. That time period. Whereas you don't get a lot of dialogue, but you get a lot of action.
Exactly. And the dialogue you do get, it's like, there is some corny lines, but it kind of works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like it. It fits the vibe. It fits the vibe of it. This, I will say, this feels very different to what we first read from Fighting American. I like this a lot more. We'll talk about our final thoughts after, but I like this a lot more as we go into this final issue here. So, here in Fighting American, issue number 3, Fighting American meets business, man. He is on the hunt for who has this bounty on him. So after parachuting down from the sky like a badass, he meets this giant thing called the Buzz Bomber, who is a guy that's been trapped in this giant mech armor suit. And he wants to kill Fighting American and claim that $10 million so that he can free himself from this metal prison that he's in, basically. So I think that's a great concept and a great reason for a villain to want to do this. I like that. Yeah. So Fighting American tells him that don't plan on cashing that check. Not now and not ever. And then he proceeds to blow up this motherfucker's head. And he kills him. So, yeah. So, as he kills Buzz Bomber, we see that self-destruct has been initiated. And these bombs are starting to come down and rain from the sky. These giant rockets are coming down. And they start fucking boom, boom, just going off. And luckily, Spice is up in this giant jet with Nelson, the nerdy AI guy. Who, all right, at this point, this is where I had to make a note. And I said, listen, I don't know, but something about Nelson makes me feel weird. He could have made her into anything, but he designed her as a 16-year-old female. It's a little weird to me.
Yeah, that's
Nelson,
a good point.
You need to be checked out, man. Like, I don't know what you were thinking. You could have made her like Pamela Anderson as a robot, but instead you're like, no, I need to make her a 16-year-old. That is weird, Nelson.
Could have made her like the fembots from Austin Powers.
Right. Dude, even in Dragon Ball, they had the right mind to say, all right, when we make Android 18 and Android 17, they're going to be adults, you know? so Krillin can fuck one later. So like, all right. I had to put that out there. He also does like a creepy smile in this I don't like. So, Nelson, you make me very uncomfortable, buddy.
Bad touch.
Anyway, so she jumps down and she meets American down at the body of Buzz Bomber, and he is frustrated, man. He said that Spice was supposed to bring him to the man that destroyed his home, his farm, and yet she brings him to this like guy, this giant mech thing. Like, this isn't who was at the bottom of this. So this was his way out of being a superhero, you know, having that life on the farm as we've talked about. That was just what he wanted to focus on, and he just had it stripped away from him, and he's pissed about it. So very understandable. Honestly, this whole story, I agree with Finding American. Like, fucking leave me alone. Like, just leave me alone. I'm not bothering anybody. Like, imagine if Superman was like, I just want to, like, relax. Like, you know what? You've been Superman for a long time. You know, maybe you deserve some time. But before anything else can happen, Spice grabs Finding American, and she jumps over a, like, large submarine, and guess what, buddy? She makes, like, a hockey stick, and they get the puck out of there.
Oh, I groaned reading that. It was so bad. That's how bad it was. I groaned.
Let's get the puck out of here. Shut up, Spice. Oh, man. So, that submarine I mentioned that showed up, that they jumped over, inside that submarine, there are two men. Well, technically two, but they're one person also. They're Siamese twins. And they're named Doubleheader. That's such a great name. Doubleheader's great because one is like a very eloquent, fancy talking person, and the other guy is from New York. He just has like the thick New York accent, which I think is phenomenal. I think that's great. Oh, sorry. They call it Brooklynese in this book. So they're both walking through the submarine, and they're looking for Fighting American. They know he's there. They're expecting him. And, of course, they want this $10 million. Everyone's in on this $10 million. So after he breaks in and meets them, he says that this is what's going to happen. All right? One of them is going to talk, and the other is going to take a beating until the other one tells him who set this all up. Either way, he's beating the fuck out of someone for no reason. And he says that legit. He goes, literally, that means one of you is getting beat up for nothing. He just wants to beat the shit out of people. Which I'm like, that's cool. Fighting American's cool, man. I don't care what anyone says. He's cool. This Fighting American from Awesome Comics, he's awesome. This guy's great. So now we're in Washington, and this is where it gets really good. Because now Kelly Grant is in Washington meeting with General Cole. And she explains to him that while going through her mama's stuff, she saw some letters, and in those letters, her mom discussed I don't know if she says mama, if it's her actual mom, or is it her grandmother? She calls her mama, and she's old, so I don't know.
I think it's her mom.
That's what I thought too, but I'll look back.
I think it's her mom.
So she talks about how Finding American and her had this quote-unquote relationship that she read about through all these letters. So, as a rational person would do, Cole pulls his gun out and shoots Kelly at point-blank range. As you do.
In the fucking face.
In the face.
Like her cheek or something.
But she catches it with her bare hands. Even she's confused. The bullet comes at full speed. She grabs it and she asks him, why did you do that? And then she looks at her hand and is like, wait, how did I do that? And then that's when Cole's like, listen, I had to make sure that my expectations were met about you. Everything that I think I know about you is true. And we need to talk ASAP about Fighting American because this conversation we're going to have it's going to have a huge impact on him going forward. To which I was like, that's his daughter, isn't it? That's his fucking daughter. It has to be, right? That was my thought.
Zero explanation as to how she got her powers or anything like that.
Unless, like, got powers through inserting it into her mom. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, like, he fucked the mom and then they had a super kid. That was my guess.
It's very possible.
That was my guess. That was my guess of the quote-unquote relationship. They were fucking. She had a baby with him. And because he has, like, the super soldier serum, it made a super baby. A natural super baby. That was my guess. Which then answers my questions about Captain America if he fucks someone. Wait, no, didn't he have a daughter in the book? In, like, the Earth 2?
In MC2, American Dream would actually be his daughter, I believe.
See? So it's like the same shit. So now we're here in Santa Monica. This guy is fishing over at the Santa Monica Pier, and he starts to pull out what he thinks is a big fish, but it's actually a giant goddamn submarine from earlier that we saw that has Fighting American on it and Spice. So he gets out from the submarine, and he goes onto a rocket and rides a rocket like a horse that Spice shoots out. Badass. Did I tell you he's badass already? Because he's badass. Now it's time for the fight. Because we're here in Bel Air, California, where this mansion was made from old money. They didn't say that here, but I had to put it in.
I still have to throw it in just for, just for a good cause.
So the rocket makes it to, I almost said Red Robin, to Round Robin's mansion, where he's sitting just shirtless at a table, just sitting there menacingly, drinking some wine, having some food, and the building fucking explodes on impact. Fighting American throws his shield to the side, and he tells him straight up, yo, no shield, man to man. If you have this $10 million bounty on my head, I want to make sure you get your money's worth, and you have to kill me with your bare hands. And I'm like, how cool is that? That's some Battle Beast shit. That's cool. So this is actually a great fight, too, because this is like if Captain America fought the Blob, because that's basically what this is.
Yeah, I actually got it, yeah.
Because Round Robin's such a great name because he's fat. That's such a funny name. So, Round Robin. But this is also like, it's also clever because Fighting American's gone through this Round Robin tournament kind of to get to him, which I think is cool.
Yes.
And he's like the crescendo. So, very cool name. So, Robin's eating these punches and all these strikes from Fighting American. And he taunts him, actually, by saying everyone before him was just appetizers. They were small meals and salads before you got to me. I'm the dessert, and I'm going to be the one to take out Fighting American once and for all. And I was like, oh, shit, this guy means business. But he makes a crucial mistake up next, right? When he has Fighting American looking a little scared, actually. He's a little shaken up. He mentions Speed Boy's name, his former ward, and that just sends him into a blind rage. And he tells him, like, oh, that just did it. And he punches Round Robin so hard in the eyeball that it swells up and leaves him rocked and laid out on the ground with one punch. And he looks up at Fighting American and this cocky smile, and he tells him that he did all this only because he missed him. Everyone that was a part of this missed him. And he should have never even tried to retire. Which is like...
What a son of a bitch.
What a fucked up thing. Like, he missed him, so he destroyed his life. Like, that's so fucked up to do. Even Fighting Americans looking at him like, bruh, are you for real? That's it?
What did you do to deserve that?
So Spice shows up out of nowhere, and she's like, hey, boss, what do we do next? And he's like, no one's giving a shit about what I wanted. Everyone wanted to fucking take me out of retirement when I wanted to stay. Every decision that's happened, no one's cared about my opinion, so why the hell should anyone care now? So he tells him that whatever move that he makes next is going to be a move that he makes on his own, and no one else is going to be by his side. And he finally leaves Spice in the dust. And this is where we get a crazy reveal, because back in Washington in the war room, General Cole is watching through Spice's eyes, and he's happy that Fighting American is back from retirement. Actually, not only that, he demands that Nelson deposits $10 million to the Swiss bank account of Round Robin? wild. He knows that the world needs John Flagg fighting as Fighting American, and that's why he set this all up, just to get him out of retirement.
Wow, what a son of a bitch.
What a son of a bitch! And then he says this line. I gotta say, it's the name of the book. He tells him that Flagg wanted to play the game a certain way, but General Cole, he changed the rules of the game. Get it? Get it? That's why the book's called The Rules. That's the name of the book. That's the name of the book. And that's it for rules of the game. I thought this was great. This is a lot of fun.
I had fun with it too. I really did.
It's just a lot of dumb fun, just explosions, punches, all that fun villains.
I will say a lot of my enjoyment comes from the Ed McGuinness art.
Yes, it's beautiful.
A lot of my enjoyment comes from that. I kind of wish we got more. I mean, it wouldn't have made sense in the context of the story, I guess. But I kind of wish we had gotten more slice of life aspects of like John Flagg's like story. Like I wish we had gotten more of him like out of the Fighting American suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I like that when we reviewed the first two, that's the kind of direction they were going, was him retiring and giving us a slice of life, and then this book kind of takes him out of it immediately. But I think that's also a case of, I don't think Rob knew how long he would have this for. I think if this was strictly under Image, there'd be a lot more freedom to like know you have a lot of time to work on this. But Awesome Comics didn't really last long. They had some like banger titles, but I don't think it really lasted too long.
Might have lasted a good 3 or 4 years, if I remember.
Yeah, which in comics, that's not that long. Like, after this, I believe after this Fighting American series, there's the Cold War, which is the next one in the line. But I don't think after that there's many Fighting Americans after that. Because I own all of Awesome Comics' run of Fighting American, which took a lot, which is weird to say, but it took a lot to get. Because the print runs weren't that big. So, it's also called Cold War, but I think the title was changed to, unless I'm missing Cold War, Fighting American Cold War. So, yeah, it looks like they did change the name of Cold War, and it changed to Dogs of War, which became the next series.
Okay.
Which, that one, it's 3 issues. Writer for that one, Jim Starlin, writes that, and Stephen Platt does the art.
That's a really good team as well.
Yes. And he actually does the covers, and they're beautiful covers. But the issue I ran into with getting these, digital with these, I don't think is an issue, but physically, so these two are easy to get. I have the variants of issue 1, and there's like there's a Stephen Platt cover, and then actually 2 Stephen Platt covers. But this third one here that introduces some other characters actually was printed so low. I paid a pretty penny for this issue. It is a decently, I think maybe now it's easier to find. Like, see, if I look this up here now, I think now, but when I got these at the time, it was not. I think now you can find it for it's $50 now. Actually, no, that's about what I paid for this. Yeah, that's about what I paid, because this book was pretty hard to get a hold of. Yeah, like even like in the lots, like this guy's selling it for $60, you get it in a lot. To get it individually, it's about a $50 book. You have to kind of get lucky. Yeah, that's about what I paid, which is, I say pretty penny, but it's because it's not a trade paperback. It's a singular 32-page book. Like, it's not anything to write home about.
Man, listen, that just furthers my argument of we need this stuff in trade paperback form, like, again.
Yeah,
like,
and
reprinted.
like Liefeld has success with putting books out again. So I think, speaking with someone that has done, like someone like Silvestri that's had success on Kickstarter, I think him talking with him about how to make Kickstarter for Fighting American collection, I don't know how that works with the rights. I think DC owns the rights to Fighting American now. I think that's the big issue.
Yeah, man, I would love to find out a way to do it, though, because Rob is starting to put out some of his old stuff again. Like he did an omnibus, I think, of Evangeline.
Oh, so this is
So
actually this is an estate-owned property. The estates of Joe Simon and Jack Kirby own it.
that's actually better.
So it's like
That's
whoever.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
then you have to go through the estate rather than DC, which is a
Yep.
lot easier.
So I think that works out. Actually, I said DC. It might have been. Was it Marvel? I know this is the recent one here, which looks great.
Yeah, it's got
So-
like a Silver Age type of feel to it.
Yeah. So I think if they're able to, I would love for this to get collected because we read the first 2 issues and they actually weren't that bad. Like we went in kind of questioning it. We weren't sure, and then we read it and it wasn't that bad.
Mhm.
It was Liefeld working with Jeph Loeb, so I think there was a lot of Jeph Loeb too, putting the squash on a lot of stuff, or like
Yeah.
going in and kind of getting stuff to look nice and come off nice when writing. But I think the best part about this, though, besides Jeph Loeb having full control of writing for this, is Ed McGuinness's art. And this was at the time when Batman and Superman was out, like that I read as a kid, that made me love Ed McGuinness. This is that same era of Jeph Loeb and Ed McGuinness. So this is like, actually no, that came later. That was the 2000. Let me correct myself. That was later. But it was like I was reading one of those. Those books were exactly the same way. If you read any of those, it was like action, which is really good. So
By the way, I just want to point out something about Spice, and
the 16-year-old AI robot.
that's correct. And I think it's something that Liefeld has done before. Like there's a guy in Youngblood who looks just like Cable.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
So Liefeld created a character for Heroes Reborn who was the granddaughter of Bucky. Her name is
Mhm.
Ricky Barnes.
Yep.
Well, if you put
Let me
Ricky
pull it up.
Barnes and Spice side by side, Spice is basically just it's Ricky with an I. Yeah. Spice and Ricky Barnes side by side is
Crazy.
just basically like I mean it's a
It's a palette swap.
recycled idea. That's what it is. It's a recycled idea.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean,
No, it isn't. But you can
Yeah.
tell like he recycled that character. He's like, oh well,
he
you know,
really
I
liked
created-
that. He really liked that
yeah.
idea.
He was like, I really liked creating that for Marvel. Let me try to like, recycle it.
And I like the change he did because like her character was just like normal, just a person. So I do like the cyborg type of addition to it. I think that's cool. Because that's a point of contention with him in the book, where I don't know if you remember from issue 1 and 2, being partnered up with an AI robot. He's like, what the fuck is this? Like, do I even trust this? Like, it doesn't even have emotions.
Yeah, he's not
So,
a fan of it at all.
Yeah, it's like the old head being with like the new blood or something. So, yeah, I like that. I think that's a cool change to it. But she's got the same shoes, man. Everything. It's crazy too.
Everything.
And I actually read Heroes Reborn from beginning to end, the Captain America run. I subjected myself to it, and one, there's a lot worse to read. 2026 Storm. There's a lot worse to read. But yeah, I think if you compare it to what he brought to the table for Fighting American, which he, in his words, is literally just what he wanted to do with Captain America, that Marvel kept telling him, no, you can't do with Captain America. He said, fuck you, I'm going to do it with Fighting American. I think it works.
I think it works primarily because, and this is not like a dig at Rob, but Rob has always been a great idea guy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of in the same vein as like McFarlane.
Yep.
They're both great idea guys, but they're not very strong writers for the most part. But Liefeld to me has always been he's always been smart enough to realize like I've got a great idea and I can put it like to paper, but I'd really like to have someone flesh it out
Yep.
and kind of like bring it to life, and that's where he brings in guys like Jeph Loeb, for example,
Yeah.
or Jim Starlin,
Which is
for example.
Genius.
Yeah. It takes a lot of humility to do that.
Yeah, and it makes a title like this, which is really good. I do recommend this for people that want to read it. I know we went through the entire story, but there's still more to discover what's going on with Kelly Grant. I haven't. So I've read Fighting American and Rules of the Game. I have yet to read Dogs of War because I was waiting to get this issue, which I finally have. So I could finally read Dogs of War. Who knows if it's even going to cover what happens with this Kelly Grant thing? But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's something we'll cover. We'll cover the sequel series for sure.
Fighting American. I just gotta see. Also, is there like another thing that we're missing? Like, is there? No, it just goes right to. Nah, it's literally just. Yeah, I have to look into it more, but I think it literally just goes into Dogs of War. Fighting American, Dogs of War. Yeah, these are the only three. Rules of the Game, Dogs of War, and Fighting American. So, yeah, that's the last one. Who knows? Maybe we'll complete the trinity of Fighting American. The other one's only three issues as well. I mean, yeah, we got this far, and I want to know now. I want to know.
Yeah, might as well.
They've piqued my interest. So, thank you everyone for listening to Fighting American, Rules of the Game issues 1 through 3. Be sure to join us next month for our one-shot and our issue. Do you want to know what our issue is for next month?
Of course.
It's actually a fun topic. We are going to be talking about some of the best Batman clones.
Oh,
characters based off of Batman, inspired by Batman, completely stolen from Batman. And in our monthly comic that we're going to be reviewing in our one-shot next month, we are going to review a legendary #1. We are going to review Shadowhawk #1, finally.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
We have finally gotten to the point to review Shadowhawk. We've talked about it since day one here. We are finally going to review it.
Yeah, we'll be banging the table after for a Shadowhawk Ultimate Collection.
Yes, we will.
You better
be
fucking
writing...
do it, Jim Valentino.
Yeah, we're going to send a very strongly worded letter to you, mother flower. Listen, you better, that book better make like a hockey stick and get the puck out and be sold to us.
On that note,
we will see you guys next month. Peace.